And welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrow in the Field. We're off to Sandown this weekend for the Tingle Creek, covering 3 races from their Saturday card, including the big race itself, the Grade 1 Tingle Creek. Before taking our usual spin up to Scotland for our football trixie battle, top, middle and bottom. Racing first though, and we say welcome to Ben. It's to Sandown we go. It's the Betfair Handicap Hurdle, the first of our 3 races under analysis this week. Can you start us off with that one? 225 Betfair Handicap Hurdle, and welcome along, Ben. Morning.
Morning, Tony. Yeah, the 225 Sandown, a decent race to kick things off with. I narrowed things down to a short list of Cabral du Mathan, Altobelli, Royal Way and Spirit de Now. Cabral du Mathan, he's 3 from 3 in his career. He's 2 from 2 for Paul Nicholls, and he comes here off the back of an easy win at Kempton 12 days ago. 12 of the last 21 winners of this race were horses that won a hurdle race last time out, and we're also returning off a break of 42 days or less and carrying 11 stone 5 or less. Those 12 winners came from only 56 qualifiers. 10 of them also ran into a place. Cabral du Mathan is the only qualifier this year, so be no surprise to see him go very close in this. Altobelli, he looked set for a potentially big season last year, but he was only seen 3 times. Last of those coming in the Betfair Hurdle at Newbury when finishing a well-beaten 14th of 21. I do think he's probably better going right-handed. It's 2 wins in 2 places from 4 runs right-handed. He's 1 from 3 going left-handed, so I'll be inclined to forgive that Newbury run. He does look well handicapped of 130. He finished a close third in a Class 1 at Ascot in December behind Lucia and Impositoire. Lucia finished third in Champion Hurdle on her next start. Impositoire finished third in a Lanzarote Hurdle on his next start. He then won a Class 2 at Newbury last weekend. Iberico Lord finished 7th in that Ascot race, and he's another that's done plenty to boost the form since. So Altobelli, high in my thoughts here. He's well handicapped. Royal Way runs for the Moors. He's disappointed on his 2 starts this season. Both come at Cheltenham, which was first runs on a left-handed track, on a track with such severe undulations as Cheltenham. I suspect there's one or even both of those conditions he didn't handle. It should be better suited to right-handed Sandown. All his hurdle runs last season were on right-handed tracks, and there were plenty in those runs to suggest Royal Way is better than what he showed on his last 2 starts. The Moors also ran last year's winner Spirit de Now. He won off a £4 lower mark last year, but he was an easy winner. This £4 higher mark likely isn't out of reach for him. It does look a slightly better renewal this year, but Spirit de Now does have his prime conditions to shoot for. Trips of 2 miles or less, and a mark of 135 or less, where he is 5 wins and a second from 7 starts. I think he looks overpriced for this at around 12 to 1, 14 to 1. And it would be Spirit de Now that interests me the most here. He has his prime conditions to shoot for, as I said, and he'll handle any worsening of the ground without any problem at all. So Spirit de Now for me, Tony. What you got for this handicap?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And Nemean Lion, I've got on the short list, well held last couple of starts at Cheltenham, but he's better than that. Those efforts suggest is Nemean Lion. Hopefully he can get back to some sort of form. And also Stream of Stars, which is interesting. Missed the whole of 2022 and 2023 before returning to action with victories at Fontwell in September and October. Interesting assignment on his latest start as well. And Royal Way, possibly Grade 3 contest was beyond him last time at Cheltenham in November. In good form this time 12 months ago as well. Improving youngster. I think he deserves his chance in this. But I'll be going for Knickerbocker Glory. Last win in November last year when beating 11 rivals 4 1/4 lengths on soft ground at Ascot off a £2 lower mark. Well held since, it has to be said, and back down on a workable mark. I think Knickerbocker Glory, he can go well at an each-way price, but I'll be going for Altobelli, which you mentioned, Ben, and solid and consistent between December 22 and last December. Not seen since disappointing behind Iberico Lord as you alluded to there, mate, at Newbury in February. Altobelli, for me, there in that 225. On to the big one. The 3 o'clock at Sandown, the Tingle Creek Grade 1 chase over 1 mile, 7.5 furlongs. Ben, your thoughts on the Tingle Creek?
Clearly all about John Bon. He won the race comfortably last year on ground that probably wasn't ideal. He's 4 from 4 at Sandown. He's an unbeaten 13 from 13 when racing away from Cheltenham. And he's clear on official ratings by a wide margin. I think something would probably need to go wrong for him not to win here. But we've got 8 runners entered, and we'll hopefully have 8 runners starting. So it's an opportunity to have an each-way dabble on 1 or 2. The ones that interest me on that score are Boot Hill, Master Chewy, and Edward Stone. Boot Hill, he ran to within 1.5 lengths of John Bon last time out in the slower chase. And whilst I think John Bon is a much better horse away from Cheltenham, I also think Boot Hill is a better horse on a right-handed track. So they both could post even better runs than they did at Cheltenham last time out. Boot Hill will also have his prime conditions to attack here. 2 mile 1 or shorter, October to February, and a break of 21 days or more, where he has 7 wins in 2 places from 13 starts. It's probably not quite a Grade 1 horse, although he's only run twice in a Grade 1. Both those runs have been in Sandown Grade 1s behind John Bon. He did undergo a wind-up in the off-season. Harry Fry's runners do tend to run better on their second run off the wind-up. A 20% strike rate on first run, and then a 25% strike rate on second run. You can certainly see the case for Boot Hill hitting the places. Master Chewy, he's a horse that's been on my radar for a while now. He was posting some strong pro-form speed figures last season as a novice chaser, figures that suggested he was a graded horse running in handicap company. He proved those figures to be no fluke. He won the Grade 2 Wayward Lad at Kempton over Christmas. We're running a massive race in the Arkle and falling 2 out, and then only just going down by a head to find a 50 in the Grade 1 Maghull chase at Aintree National Festival. I found a 50 who's 2 from 2 in Grade 2s since that Aintree win. Master Chewy should be suited by conditions here as well. Good to softer, over shorter than 2 mile 1, and in October to December, Master Chewy is 2 wins, 3 places, and a fall at the last when 2 lengths up. I think he does look overpriced at around 20 to 1 in places. And I included Edwardstone on the short list because previous winners of the Tingle Creek, which Edwardstone is, they do have a habit of coming back and running well in the race in future renewals. Since 1999, 21 previous winners have run in the race. 8 of them won. 14 of the 21 finished first or second. Edwardstone, he's been over the Sandown fences 4 times, won twice, finished second and third in other runs. Not hard to see him finding a way to get into places this year. Of that 3, I'd be most interested in taking a each-way dart at Master Chewy. I think he looks the one in the field that's most wrong at the prices, and hopefully he can run himself into one of the places. So Master Chewy for me. Tony, what you got for the Tingle Creek?
Yeah, it's like a race that what used to be, isn't it? In the last 9 renewals of this contest, Ben, all 9 winners had an official rating of between 161 and 175. From the 17 winning place positions up for grabs, 9 winners produced and 6 place runners. That's 15 of the 17 winning place positions had a official rating of between 161 and 175. We've got John Bon here on 170, and we've got Edward Stone on 163. The only 2 qualifiers. Boot Hill is rated 160. I know you give him a good mention there, Ben. With the next best, Quilixios at on 155, and the rest lower than 155. And really, to be getting near to John Bon, you need to be 161 on official ratings as the trends give out. But I wouldn't put anybody off your selection there, Ben, but I'll be going for Edward Stone, which you also mentioned there, who's around 17 to 2 at the minute. So John Bond, obviously, for the win, and Edward Stone to finish second, hopefully, or hit the frame, as you say, 8 runners at 17 to 2. That's our Tyndall Creek preview there. On to the 3:35. It's the London National Class 2 handicap over 3 miles, 4.5 furlongs. What you got for us in this one, Ben?
Yeah, London National. I thought a bit of a tricky race to make a
Oh,
really solid
blimey.
case for
Yeah.
plenty of them. Yeah, I thought there was a few that just don't look like they've got conditions in their favour at all. But I eventually settled on a rough short list of Montgomery, Broken Halo, Conkwell Legend, and Mr. Vango. Montgomery runs here for Venetia Williams. He's the least exposed in the field alongside Mr. Vango. Not hard to think Venetia will still be able to get plenty more out of the 7-year-old. This is only his fifth run for the yard because he was previously with Christian Williams and before that Tom Lacey. Also only his fifth run over fences. A mark of 127, unlikely to be ceiling of his abilities. Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch, they've got some solid stats over the Sandown fences when teaming up with French-bred runners over 2 mile 4 and further. 8 wins, 5 places from 25. And that's wrong because he's an Irish bred. So, yeah, that's not going to work. I've just undone all my good work. Brain's not working today, Tony. So, yeah, those stats are pointless.
He is Irish bred, isn't he?
He is Irish bred.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just assumed he was a French bred because most of hers are.
Right. Oh, well, right. I see. I've got you.
Anywho, he's still got improvement to come. So he's one of the ones I think he's ahead of his mark currently, Montgomery. But I don't have any stats to back it up with.
Just as well you spotted that because
I know that. My brain just started going, hold on.
Hang on, yeah.
Is he? Anyway, I do think Montgomery's got a good chance. I think I'd be surprised if 127 was the limit of his abilities. Broken Halo, he fell 2 out in this last year when still to be asked for a serious effort. Runs off the same mark this time around. Also has the benefit of having had a wind up during the off season. Pulled up when he was last seen in the Scottish National in April. He's a much better horse going right-handed or on figure of 8 tracks. All 6 of his wins have come on a right-handed or figure of 8 track, so easy enough to ignore his last run. He's won twice over Sandown fences previously, so he does handle the track well. Also has a win over 3 mile 5 on his CV from Taunton earlier this year, so there is stamina in the tank. I think Broken Halo was one of the easier ones to stick on the short list for this. Conkwell Legend, he's yet to score in 10 previous starts over fences. Still banging contention when last seen in April in the Highland National at Perth. Unseating 5 out when still to be asked a serious question. In truth, his jumping has been a bit of an Achilles heel for him, but he's the sort, you just feel that when he puts in a clear round, he could well have a decent staying pot in him. And his trainer, Neil Mulholland, he's had success in this race in the past. He sent 5 runners to the race previously. They've finished second, first, fourth, second, and first. So he knows the type of runner needed for this. Conkwell Legend, he's definitely an interesting one at bigger prices for this. And the Mulholland yard, they've just started to click in the past couple of days. And then Mr. Vango, he's the other on my short list. I'd be convinced he's a horse with plenty more still offer after only 4 chase starts. A stamina test definitely looks like what he wants. Maybe prove best going this way around as well. I've got a slight concern about him being bang ready for this off a 231-day break. The Bradstocks, Sarah, who's now got the licence, her late husband Mark had it before. The runners, they generally improve for the first run of a break of around 230 days or more. The only one to kind of buck that trend was Coney Gree. Whilst I think Mr. Vango is going to prove to be an above average type. Probably not a Coney Gree type. Nothing more than a niggle, to be honest, though. But I do just wonder if Mr. Vango will improve for this run. So kind of on the fence with him. So a tricky race to end things on. Even one that I'm getting my stats wrong on. But I'm gonna take a swing of the bat here and take a flyer on Conkwell Legend. There's upwards of 18 to 1 available and bigger at time of recording. So happy to take a risk. It'll be a swing and a miss at those prices. But if he can keep his jumping together, then he's almost certainly on a winnable mark. And Mulholland does know what's needed to win this race. So a big swing at Conkwell Legend for me, Tony. What you got for the London National?
Yeah, I wouldn't be putting Montgomery away, mate. Irish. In the last 8 years, Irish breds are 6 from 8, with another 10 hitting the frame. They've got the Irish breds in this race have got the best record. So a 31% win and play strike rate as well. And an average actual over expected of 0.93, which is a bit near 1. It's a bit below, obviously, which isn't good, but 6 from 52 runners. Hey?
It's almost there. It's
yeah,
almost
exactly, mate. Yeah. And also, Ben, other podcasts would be scrambling around in the editing suite at the moment. We just carry on, mate. We just carry on regardless.
No time for that.
No, absolutely.
Life's too short.
I've again, like last week, we had that race last week where I was going, too many. Come back to it and have a look. Anyway, I've gone for Broken Halo. First time after a wind up. He's pulled up, obviously, in April when last seen in the Scottish Grand National. He's better than that on his Taunton wins. And a win at Sandown, interesting, in the Royal Artillery Gold Cup as well. A second of 5, beaten 6.5 lengths. So Broken Halo there. And he's an each-way price at the minute, currently 7-1. I've got Unanswered Prayers as well for the Gordons. He's around 8-1. He was won on second start of the season at Fontwell at Fontwell on good ground, beating 8 rivals 1 3/4 lengths under Freddie Gordon, and that was backing up a not too bad. He wasn't disgraced on seasonal debut at Cheltenham's October meeting. They're finishing 8th of 14 over 3 miles 1 furlong good ground. So you can take that into account, and one at a bigger price. I have to go, if you're going a big price, mate, we'll have to have Dr. Kananga, who's a 10-year-old. Ben Clark is the trainer. Rex Dingle is the jockey, 25-1. And he needs others to falter in this. But he's 4th of 9, beaten 15.5 lengths at Foss Laswen, last seen in April. Isn't as bad as it looked. And he was in decent form around this time last year. Dr. Kananga, each way there in that race. The London National. See, everyone's got a national now. Broken Halo to go with that, and Unanswered Prayers as well for the Gordons. All right, that's our look at the horses. On to top, middle and bottom.
The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, jeez, he peeps, man.
Time for top, middle and bottom. Ben, can you give us an update from last week, please?
Yeah, just one winner each last week, so -4 for both of us. Forfar did actually win their game last week, but it was on penalties, which was no use to me. GeeGeez peeps, man. Should have done it in normal time, but they didn't. Current totals, me plus 5.88, Tony minus 23.64. Back to league action this week. My top, middle and bottom. Top, Partick Thistle to beat Ayr at 6-5. Partick had a bit of a slow start season. Properly in the groove now, though. Hopefully they can take care of Ayr at home. Partick are unbeaten in 8 at home this season. It's conceded only 4, and they kick off my top, middle and bottom this week. Partick Thistle, middle, Arbroath to beat Queen of the South 9-10. A repeat of last week's Scottish Cup tie, which Queen of the South won. But I'm going to stick with Arbroath again this week. Queen of the South are winless away from home in the league. They've lost 5 or 7. They've scored only once. Hopefully Arbroath can get a revenge for last week's defeat with a win here. Bottom, East Fife to beat Elgin City at 10-11. Top 2 in the league. I'm going to side with East Fife. I want to get them back to the top. Methal's not been a happy hunting ground for Elgin. The last 5 matches have gone the way of East Fife, and I'm siding with them to make it 6 home wins on the spin against Elgin City. So my top, middle and bottom. Top, Partick Thistle. Middle, Arbroath. Bottom, east of the Fife. Tony.
Good stuff. My 3, mate, are Livingston away at Greenock Morton, 21-20 there. Livingston away at Greenock Morton. Cove Rangers away at Annan. Athletic 7-5, and East Fife at home to Elgin. Same as you at 10-11 there. So Livingston, Cove Rangers, and East Fife for me. Many thanks for listening to the latest edition of the Racing Podblast. Very best luck with your bets at Sandown this week. weekend. You can catch me over on TalkSport through the week with some Tony's Tips action and also some debate going on as well. It's our final week on TalkSport 2 because we're taking a break for Christmas for the darts. And you can catch more from Ben on narrowinthefield.co.uk. Big thanks for listening this week. Thanks very much, Ben.
Cheers, Tony.
And have a great weekend, everyone.